Welcome back, everybody. Today you get to see us take on Manchester City and probably get a battering. The window's closed. There's been some ins. There's not been many outs. I'm actually quite pleased with where we're up Okay, everybody, welcome back. This is In the Dugout FM. I am Millers. This is Sunday League to Champions League, and you join us with Coventry in the Premier League at the beginning of Season 10, and we're currently in 9th place. Now, we're in 9th place. You joined us for the game against Everton where we got beat 2-1. Since then, we're undefeated in the Premier League. Now, there is 2 draws in there, but they're 2 draws against 2 top 5 teams. And then we went to Villa, who were also a top 7 team, and nicked a win, but I would argue we probably deserved the win. So you can see there, our last game, we got beat against Oxford United, which I'm furious about because I thought we could have a chance at running for this cup. I've been rotating. In the first game, we played Stevenage, heavily rotated team. I brought in Danny Hughes from the 21s. He scored. This is one of our new signings who I threw straight in. I'll talk to you about him in a minute. And we battered them. But as you would expect, Stevenage are League 2. Oxford United are Championship. Again, rotated. Kept the starting midfield 2 and put Jesse in there up top. And then I had to make changes and bring lads on that I didn't want to do. But they just, we couldn't finish our dinner and they just could. So we're out of the cup, sadly. However, Premier League, let's focus. So you joined us for that 2-1 defeat. Was what it was. Then we came back at home, played Chelsea. We took an early lead, not that early, 32 minutes, and they scored after 56. But then we held them and we did quite well. There was no real issue there. We deserved our point. Then we played Newcastle at home. They scored. We scored. We took the lead, and then they equalised with a 90th minute penalty, which had never seen a penalty in all my days. But nonetheless, it was, because VAR said so, and therefore they equalised. But shoots of green, and then we managed to go to Villa and absolutely deserve that 1-0 win. I know it's not the most flattering of scorelines, but they didn't have a shot on target. I think they had one shot, none of them were on target, and we certainly dominated that game, and it should have been more than one. But one I will take because it gives us the much required 3 points. That means from the last 4 Premier League games, we've taken 5 points. Not horrendous. And it leaves us in 9th place. Only played 4, so I'm quite pleased with that. As long as we're ahead of this number, that's quite good for me. Again, remembering we're supposed to be down here. I'm pleased with it. I know it's early. I will say I am keeping my eye on the job centre. Purely because I want to get us a test and I want us to move forwards a little bit. And with the financial constraints we've got at Coventry and the reputational size, I think we're going to struggle to really develop past where we are unless we continue to find more lads like Hassel and Walden because they're the difference makers. Now, speaking of those boys, let's move to the transfer window. It's just closed. You can see we spent some money, right? And I openly admitted that when you were last with us. Since I think you're up to here, we've brought in Eric Simonson. This lad is a lad spotted by Brian Beresford, our director of football. He's all about the future. So I brought him in and sent him out on loan immediately. I think, there's a player in there, in fairness to Brian. I don't mind it. It's $9,000 a week. And he wasn't all that expensive. So we've brought in Eric. We've brought in Marko Sahufe. So this is a lad I was talking to you about when you were last with us. He's that Ukrainian tough tackling midfielder. Good lad, can play as that anchor. And also can come in here and be a central defensive midfielder. So I like him, bit of flexibility. I did use him at Villa towards the back end of the game to be that anchor. So just to sit in there, sweep everything up, be a defensive midfielder and just be an all-round nuisance. We've signed Ben Jones from Celtic, who's a centre-half, young Welsh lad, 24, decent centre-half. Probably would prefer to play in a 3. That might be something we look at. the further down the line we go, but we'll come to that maybe a little bit later on in the season. And then we've also managed to nick this lad from Colo Colo, Sebastian Fuentes. Right, this boy was an agent brought him to my attention, said he was available. Manchester, I had a look at him. Manchester City were showing major interest. We sent a couple of scouts out, decent reports back. I've managed to nick in and sign him for 3.5 million on the basis that he's allowed to use our club as a stepping stone, which is fair. If he benefits us and he kicks on, great. He's got a minimum release fee of 45 million to Champions League clubs. I'll take that from 3.5 million. But he had some real strength in that position alongside Damunku. So, you know, very, very good. Scored in his first game, albeit against Stevenage. But likes to take that long shot. Good at tackling. Quite creative. Really good technically. Like him a lot. And like I said, City were sniffing around him. So it's nice to have been able to nick him. Shows a little bit about what we're managing to do. And then on the outs, it's loans, really. Emerson Royale's gone out for just under 10 million. I think we talked about that when you were last here. The deal's been done. Quite happy with that. No problems there. Big wage bill release. And also we got 10 million for it as he approaches the twilight of his career. We've had a few lads go out on loan. Mainly Gorman to Bromby. We've loaned Simonson, who I just talked about. And Danny Hughes, who did well in the League Cup for us, has now gone out to get some first-team football in the Scottish Prem. So that's happened too. On deadline day, though, we were working really hard to try and sell Tommy Conway, who's desperate to leave. Couldn't get a bite. I went from his release fee of 43 million down to 15. Couldn't get any bites. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. Probably one for January. He's got plenty of time on his contract, so I'm not really worried about losing that value, so it might have to be January. We had several bids from Chelsea for this young man, though. So he's got a release fee in his contract of 38 million for Champions League clubs, or continental clubs. They didn't trigger that, which was weird because they were offering values over and above that 38 million with instalments and what have you. I guess they didn't have the cash on hand, but that just shows you we've got a real player on our hands here. And he is going to be difficult to keep hold of. But we want to keep hold of him, and we want to keep hold of Walden because they're our young talents. They're the ones that are driving us forwards at the minute. As Mario's starting to drop off. I know he scored 2 in 6, right? Fine. But those 2 were in one game. And he's just starting to wane a little bit. I don't know if it's levels. But he missed an absolute boatload of chances against Villa. And if it wasn't for this chap, keep feeding him, I'd be a little bit more concerned. One to think about. If I had the money, which I don't, if I had the money, I'd sign a centre forward. But in order to get what we need at this level, I need a lot more money than 7 million. Hence me trying to get Conway out the door so I could use some of that money. But all in all, I'm fairly pleased with where we are. You know, we've brought in some strength. We've got a little bit of depth again that we were lacking when you were with us against Everton. So pleased with that. Our midfield looks stronger. Our defence looks stronger. Yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it. With that being said, we're now going to go and play City and more than likely get absolutely battered. But it is City. All right, we've got to accept it. City are up there in third. The Count comes back to see us. Is he still the gaff? He is. Count Emery is going to come back and probably give us another going over in the same way they did last season. We're going to stay balanced. We're going to try and stay a little bit more composed. I might just bring these boys back and stick like that and ask them to kick on from that shape so we can try and hold. Fuentes is going to play as a ball-winning midfielder to try and win back that ball for us. And then allow I can never say his name, Dokunmu, to get forwards. We're still going to stick with these pair up top and hope that they can do something. And Kubiasi is going to be asked to step out as a ball-playing midfielder. You'll notice we've stopped playing that inverted role. That was costing us, and there's not really the space for him to do it. We'll see as we progress, because we've now got strength at centre-half, whether we start to move these forward and play a 5 at the expense, probably, of a centre forward. It's what I'm thinking about. I might start trading the formation. But there we go. Right. Let us go. Let us go. I hold out no hope for this game. Anyway, hope you're all well. Hope you're enjoying the save. Thank you for joining on board if you already have. If you haven't, do feel free to subscribe. It's totally free, and it does help us out. It's fantastic. We've managed to make 75 subscribers, which blows my mind. I've had a bet with my lad that I'm going to get to 100 by the time his birthday comes around, which is May. I don't know if I'm going to do that, but yeah, we'll see. It'd be nice. It'd be nice. We're in a good place. Out for performance in every match. That is a proper answer, Andy. I respect him massively. I can go to him with anything, vice versa. We trust each other. There we go. Me and the Count, buds, best buds. Yeah, do feel free to subscribe and all that stuff. It's really helping me out. I'm loving this save, but I love it every year. As I've said a few times, it's kind of just what I do on here. I am thinking about doing a couple of other saves that I would normally do privately again, where I try and do things better than existing managers, mainly in the Premier League, in fairness. So, on the channel you can see my previous save is emulating Ange, where, Spurs had a fantastic start to this season, and therefore I said, well, look, can I do it as well as Ange? Turns out, up until now, I did it better. Spoilers. Do feel free to go and have a look at that, though. It's not a massive save. I think it's 10 episodes max, but I'm thinking about doing something similar to that, either privately or, maybe I'll record it. We'll see. That pass is not good enough from Pew. By the way, Pew is attracting a lot of attention from Saudi Arabia. I wouldn't have accepted the offer. That's a great tackle, MC. Well in you. Bite. Good lad. There we go. Little bit. Oh, Mario. Little bit of fight. So yeah, so I might do that. Feel free to drop in the comments if you think you'd like to watch that. More than happy to. Well in again, you get up. Feel free to drop in the comments if you'd like to watch it. That's never seen a penalty. The direction of travel of the ball. Don't you dare. Thank you. I mean, we could all see it, ref. I don't know what you need to go and see for on telly for. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. It was a fantastic tackle. And we're holding our own. Not really had a lot of opportunities. Goller comes a long way out for that, and I was terrified. But then I remembered he's 6'4", and should be able to claim those, no problem at all. I've got to remember we are a bit deep in terms of our shape. Well done, you. Can ya? Oh, what a run, by the way. That's superb. Fuentes is he's not feeling great, is he? I don't know if he's feeling the pressure of playing against City. Nice and short, kid. Thank you. But he's not having the best of games. We have got Riley on the bench, who is more than capable of playing in that position. I just have to change into a bit of a playmaker. Hassel skins his man. Superb advantage by the ref. Hassel's down and holding what looks like his foot. The physio's coming running on, but superb advantage play by the referee. Sometimes you're going to give him some stick, but this here, he could have blown the whistle, but he waited, and Mario gets on the end of it, and he tucks it in that far side. Forget everything I was saying about the boy. He's absolutely got it, and that's 3 in 7. So clearly I do not know what I'm talking about. Our XG is now 1.5, thanks to the couple of opportunities we've just had, and we look like a team that can cope with a team such as City. However, they've not had a shot on target, and they've created a fair few. Seb's nervous, which I understand. I'm going to point to them and tell them to avoid any kind of complacency. Can I have a word with Seb and just calm him down? Hands together. Hands together. Go and have some fun. Play without pressure, kid. Go and enjoy your football. Express yourself. You're one-on-one. That's an old song. None of you will know that. None of you will know that. I am far too old to be doing this. Okay. Okay. Quiet. Don't mind highlight list, but we've got a free kick. It's direct. Fuentes normally takes these now. Is it going to be him? It is. Are you going to go for goal, son? Do something spectacular. Show City why they should have signed you. Just like that. You love to see that. I am a fortune teller. It's been said before, hasn't it? It's been said before, I'm the oracle. He gets hold of this and just says, can you stop that? I'm going to go around the wall. And Seaman, in goal, says, no, I can't. I will have a right good dive, but I'm not reaching it. And that puts us 2 up at home against Manchester City. Rico Lewis still at the club. That's fantastic. Love that boy. McAllister, Pruner, played through a gap to Musiala, who's a massive danger. And just like that, they're back in the game. 2-1. Nothing Goller can really do there. It looks to hit the side netting, in fairness to him. But this little slip through there, you've really got to try and defend against that. He's gone right the way around you and the ball's come through you. If you hold your line there, that's not a problem. If you hold your line, that's not a problem. But they didn't. They didn't. I'm nervous about making changes. I don't really want to touch anything. Contemplating putting the anchor on, if I'm honest, for Van der Haar. Contemplating it. He wants to be subbed. He wants to be subbed, but I'm terrified to stop the game. Boom. Boom. The count is devastated. We will have a glass of wine, pal. Don't worry, it happens to us all. That's fantastic. Outstretched arms. I'm very happy with that. Should I say that? That's bold, isn't it? No, let's say you made the doubters that you would eat the words. Really well done. I like the fact that he was a little bit apprehensive because he knows he made a balls up there in letting the winger come around him and that through ball take him out of the game. I learned a lot from it, Gavin. It was a beauty. He's got that in his locker. Everybody will just drive from range, yeah, and they'll still have goosebumps thinking about it. Definitely want, yeah, absolutely. Goosebumps. Okay, that puts us up to 6th. Still very, very early, but I would never have had 3 points on the calendar for this game. I think you probably got that impression both in the last one and in this one. But that really does help us. 8 points from 5. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. As long as we can beat last season's total, that really helps us kick on. Well, I can't believe that result, to be honest. While you're here, I don't mind paying that, by the way, because he's been superb. While you're here, what I thought we might do, put my arm around this kid. Come here, you. Really well done. Is just have a very quick look back down memory lane and see where the teams are that we once looked after. Curzon Ashton. They've gone back down to the conference. It looks like they're competing, though. Looks like they're competing at the conference. Is anybody still in the squad that we would recognise? Georgie Hoddle. I recognise that name. But it was from Cambridge. I thought it was. They've said, in fact, we probably sold him to him. Sold him to them. Words. Anybody else? Noah Kwamya. Yeah, recognise him. I want to say I recognise Adam Ryan too. No, I don't. Clearly, he's 22. No, talking nonsense. Talking absolute nonsense. Disappointing. Disappointed for them, but they were always this level and below, weren't they, financially, if we're all honest with ourselves. Let's have a quick look, see if I can see. There we go. They've only just gone down. They held their own in League 2 for quite a while, in fairness to them, but it just got a little bit too much, and that's a shame. Have a quick check-in at Cambridge. See if they managed to maintain the championships. No. They're in League 1, so it all kind of fell down a little bit for them too. Again, I'm probably going to put that down to finances, because you've got to have the money to compete, and they've been down here for a couple of seasons. So that makes sense. From a player's perspective, anyone we recognise? O'Dare, the boy I brought in. Glad to see him featuring. Played 7 now. Looks like he's a mercenary. That doesn't sound very good, does it? A mercenary. Ben Palmer, recognise that kid. Faustino's still there, although he must be aging now. How old are you, kid? 30. You could do a job in League 1, surely. They've got a massive squad, by the way. Blooming heck. Okay. Well, 20th in League 1. Struggling. Blackburn. I hope you lot are struggling. What happened there? I hope you lot are struggling after what you did to me. But in fairness, you paid off my mortgage, so I've got an house. And I can't really complain, can we? League One. Hello. Hello. How are you? Love to see that. That's great news. What happened? What happened? Championship, championship, championship. Bosh. Bottom. Rock bottom they finished. I bet their finances are on the bus now. I genuinely do. Jordan Wood, kid we've seen on loan before. Anyone else? Anyone else? Wilson Esperan's still there. Morgan Whittaker's still there. Although he's asked to leave. Asked to leave. Asked to leave. Asked to leave. Oh dear. It is not pretty. Asked. Oh. Ryan Trevitt's still there. He's unhappy. He wants to leave. They've not even registered Chimiti. Mind you, I suppose. Well, he's only 28. Surely he can do a job at League One. If he's a practical signing for me, surely he can do a job. Wow. Tommy Cannon, still there. Asked. Wowzers. Wowzers. Blackburn are not having fun. So, probably says that our decisions so far in terms of moving on have been right, doesn't it? And I'm pleased about that. I'm definitely pleased that Blackburn are down in League One. But I'm not bitter. Look, I hope you've enjoyed that. The next time we will join you, I did say we'll kick on a little bit, and I meant it because I don't want to bore you lot. So what I'll probably do is play a tranche of games and come back around about the beginning of December. So we'll get through September, October and November. Not that you didn't know what the months were before December anyway. And we'll come back for the Fulham game. Okay? And we'll see where we're up to. If we're probably, well, we're about halfway there, aren't we? Not a million miles off. So if we're on 20 to 25 points, I'll be delighted at that point. We've got some winnable games in that run of fixtures. Let's see. Thank you very much for joining us. I know it's been a bit of a longer one. I hope that's been all right with you. And I will catch you all in the next one. Take care.